Hi, gang. It's Patrick.
And Adam.
Coming up on today's episode, pardon our pixie dust as we update the Disney parks and resorts in our new segment, Do Over Disney. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news, and we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Adam, home improvement Hummel.
Patrick Tool Belt Kazuki.
You could have just stopped at the word tool and it would have made just as much sense.
I would never, ever call you a tool.
You can and you should, and I would respond to it as though you were saying my name.
How are you doing, Patrick?
I am good, thank you so much. Here we are again on another Friday evening, recording an episode of Gays to the T. It's our new normal.
It is the new normal. It's becoming a thing. It's becoming a habit.
Don't make a habit of it. How are you?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Patrick. I'm a little crestfallen.
Oh, no. Why? Why ever, Adam?
Thank you for asking. Patrick, I don't know if you're like me, but when I'm planning a trip to a Disney park, sometimes I like to purchase a new shirt or two.
A blouse, if you will.
A sensible blouse. And
Yeah.
I ordered a sensible blouse off of eBay, Patrick.
Oh, okay. Not a Gays Do the D shirt. Interesting. Okay.
No, but there are a lot of those on eBay. It's upsetting, Patrick.
Oh, you've discovered my shop.
Just kidding. No one would make any money selling Gays Do the D t-shirts on eBay.
No, they would lose money because we would sue them to the heavens.
Would you like to get litigious? Yes.
It's true. Okay, carry on with your story.
Thank you. Yes, so I ordered a blouse off of eBay, and I stupidly forgot to update my address in eBay.
Oh, no. So it went to Minneapolis?
My t-shirt is sitting in Minneapolis at my old apartment building. And let me just say,
Yeah.
new resident of apartment 1009 at latitude 45, if you think you're going to keep my t-shirt, you are sorely mistaken. I will have your guts for garters.
Oh, my goodness. Aggressive, but I understand fully. Do you need me to go and pick up your package, Adam?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reach out to the building. I'm going to say, hey, I need you to track down the resident. I need that t-shirt because I need to look good, Patrick, at Walt Disney World's 50th.
Or someone is walking around with a sensible top right now.
They better not be.
Well, I'm sorry. I know that brings you such woe.
I hope to get it delivered to my home, but who knows if it'll even fit with this pandemic weight I've been carrying.
I didn't need a pandemic to carry more. No. I am just loving all the wine and Doritos that I can get my hands and mouth on.
That classic pairing of wine and Doritos.
Yeah, it's like a wine and cheese, basically. It's my version of wine and cheese pairings.
And I love that you mentioned Doritos, classic Disney tie-in. Let's not forget Casa de Fritos created Doritos.
It's true. It's absolutely true. I'm just doing my part to celebrate the mouse.
Tweedles, remember, anytime you eat Doritos, you are doing God's work and treating yourself to a Disney snack.
Treat yourself, won't you?
Well, you just, yes.
Well, speaking of treating yourself, Adam, we have some new information about the Jungle Cruise and just how many people saw it this past week.
Oh, yes. These opening weekend stats.
It's exciting to see, though, I have to say. It's exciting to have these stats come back into our lives at all.
That's a great point. For so long, no stats.
No stats. And now we're just stacked, really.
You love stats, don't you?
I love a good stat. You know, I love statistics. I love numbers. I love knowing things. I love knowing the ins and outs of the business.
Absolutely. Stats, stints.
I don't want a stint, I have to say. Like, let's put that on hold for a while.
Staples.
Remember Staples, the store?
They still exist, don't they?
Do they? I don't know. I feel like they were like bought out by a different store. Where are we right now? What's happening?
Well, it's interesting that you bring up Staples because Disney created Staples at Casa de Fritos.
They did. They did indeed. Don't eat those, though. Don't eat those. Just eat the Doritos. But Adam, let's get back to where we were and go back. I know it's a touchy subject for you, but let's talk more about the Jungle Cruise.
Oh, not at all. No, the Jungle Cruise, which, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, go back and check it out because Patrick and I gave our spoiler-free review of Disney's Jungle Cruise, made $34.2 million in theatrical ticket sales and another $30 million on Disney Plus last weekend. It led the competition in North America. The international box office was $27.6 million from 47 overseas territories, taking the worldwide box office, Patrick, to $61.8 million.
Not too shabby, especially knowing that, movie theaters are at best half sold right now. So well done, Jungle Cruise. And I will say, I should mention, it bumped up just a smidge on Rotten Tomatoes. They're now sitting at 63% for the Rotten Tomatoes score, which
Good
is
job,
still,
Jungle
not
Cruise. Good job.
Yeah, not the best score. But I will say they have a 92% audience score, so that's pretty great.
That doesn't surprise me in the least. All I've been seeing are raves from Disney fans.
Yeah, a lot of people are really liking this. The critics are pretty mixed about it, as were we, basically, but the audiences are liking it. So I would say it's a crowd pleaser, a family-friendly movie that is not too deep.
Not as deep as the Amazon, certainly. And see, what I did there, Patrick, is I tied it back to a river. A jungle river.
Perhaps if you had used Amazon, your correct address would have populated instead of eBay.
I wish I could have, but this t-shirt is no longer sold on Amazon, Patrick. I had to go to eBay.
Fair enough. Well, let's move on to some feedback that we had on the Jungle Cruise, won't we?
One whole feedback.
We did have a feedback about the Jungle Cruise.
Dedicated listener, Blair, who you can find on Instagram at adventures_Blair, wrote in with her thoughts. Patrick, take it away.
Ooh, I will take it. Blair says, just listened to the spoiler-free review of Jungle Cruise, and I am so sad that Adam hated the movie. I agree with Patrick. I didn't expect much out of it except for lighthearted fun, and I got exactly that. I enjoyed the jokes, especially the "you're gonna need two hands" and the reach-around joke, laughing face emoji. But I will say that my TV also looked weird in regards to the special effects. The movie was as if The Mummy, Pirates, and Indiana Jones had a baby.
I agree with that. It was a love child of those three films.
Indeed it was. I would even throw in Romancing the Stone. Do you remember that movie?
You like to bring up Romancing the Stone a lot. Was that a seminal movie for you as a child?
It is a movie that I often remember. I don't know why. It may have been like one of the first movies that I ever saw as a child, like as I started remembering things. And who can forget Kathleen Turner?
No one can forget Kathleen Turner.
That voice though.
Famously voiced Jessica Rabbit in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Indeed.
And was a fry cook at Casa de Fritos.
Okay, all right. We're going to keep that up. Got it. Noted. It's going to be a fun episode, everybody.
Just 2 to 3 more mentions.
That's fair. I will allow 5.
I like the idea of Mummy, Pirates, and Indiana Jones having a baby because that means Brendan Fraser, Johnny Depp, and Harrison Ford got together and made it work.
Only the men did the baby making in that one.
In my mind, yes.
Yeah, no, fair. I'm not shunning you. I'm agreeing with you. I'm pointing it out.
That's why we're friends, Patrick.
That's why we're friendsies. Well, thank you, Blair, for that feedback, for our one feedback. I have to say, I agree with you as well, because you agree with me. So there we are.
That's why you two are so close, you and Blair.
We're twinsies, basically.
And Patrick, that takes us right into This Week in Disney History. Can you even believe that we're already to This Week in Disney History?
What is this, August already? Oh, it is August already. Well, here we are.
It's humid, we're hot, we're over summer, but what we're not over is This Week in Disney History.
This week in Disney history, everybody, is birthday week. Buckle up. We have some birthdays to celebrate this week in Disney history. Are you ready, Adam and Tweedles?
Before we proceed, you know I'm going to ask this. Will there be cake?
There's always cake. It doesn't have to be a birthday to have cake, Adam.
That's an excellent point, and that's the way I've been living my life every single day the past 18 months. Patrick, let's get it started.
Always assume cake. That's my motto. 40, 5 years ago, everybody, on August 11th, 1976, actor and teen heartthrob Will Friedle was born in Hartford, Connecticut. Friedle is very widely remembered as Corey's older brother Eric Matthews on the TV series Boy Meets World, which aired from 1993 to 2000. Now, beyond that, he has a very successful career as a voice actor, mostly for Disney. He is the voice of Ron Stoppable for both Kim Possible and Lilo and Stitch the series. He voices Star-Lord for Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated series, Hulk and the Agents of Smash, and Avengers Assemble. He also does voice work for Gravity Falls and Big Hero 6, the series. And although not Disney, many cartoon fans will know his voice as Batman in Batman Beyond.
Oh, interesting. You know, Matthew, my boyfriend, has a huge crush to this day on this fella.
As do I. He is just a handsome and charming man.
And I, as you all know, grew up in a valley, so I could not experience the magic of Boy Meets World as a child.
You could not. Are you watching it now? Have you watched any episodes since it's been on Disney Plus?
I've watched a couple with Matthew. Matthew was kind of going through the series, and I would have been into it, Patrick, had I been given the opportunity that all of you had, that I was robbed because I lived in said valley. Yes, I think I would have liked it.
Yeah, it was a very successful show. Well, moving on, 67 years ago, on August 11th, 1954, sound engineer Terry Porter was born in Glendale, California. Now, with over 200 credits to his name, he is one of the most widely used and talented sound mixers in the business. He was nominated for 4 Academy Awards for Star Trek IV, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Chronicles of Narnia. Now, just a small, and I really mean this, just a small sampling of other Disney movies he has worked on: The Rescuers Down Under, The Lion King, Pocahontas, Operation Dumbo Drop, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Mulan, both the animated and live-action movies, Tarzan, Lilo and Stitch, Freaky Friday, Dinosaur, The Haunted Mansion, and Treasure Planet.
Does he have a life outside of work?
I don't think so. I don't think that he does, but he is the workingest man in town.
Terry, I'm concerned. I want you to experience the world. It's not all about work, Terry.
Isn't it though? I have to say, I feel like people who work in the sound industry, if you are good at what you do, you will work everywhere. You will just constantly have work if you want it.
Are you talking about us in this podcast right now?
I'm talking about us specifically. Yeah, absolutely.
Tweedles, you hear the quality week after week. I mean, come on. Nothing compares to the sound quality of GDTD.
Only here can you hear fighter jets flying over Adam's house on a podcast.
Penny growling, Matthew talking to Penny downstairs at this very moment.
It all happens right here on Gaze to the D. Well, let's move on to our last birthday this week in Disney history. 122 years ago, Adam, on August 9th, 1899, author P.L. Travers was born in Queensland, Australia. The 1934 publication of Mary Poppins, of course, would be Travers' very first literary success, which was followed, I didn't know this, by 5 sequels. Now, beyond being a successful author for a time, during World War II, she lived in Manhattan, New York, where she worked for the British Ministry of Information. It sounds like Harry Potter, which was where she was first contacted by Walt Disney about obtaining the rights to Mary Poppins. She also worked briefly as a professional Shakespearean actress in Australia. Her given name was Helen Lyndon Gough, and when she moved to the UK at the age of 25, she changed her name to Pamela Lyndon Travers, which she used as her pen name, P.L. Travers. She lived a fascinating life, some of which, of course, was captured in the film Saving Mr. Banks, about her time working with Walt Disney. I feel like we need to dedicate an entire episode of Gaze to the D to P.L. Travers.
We certainly could do that if we could ever know the actual woman. It sounds like she was a damn spy, Patrick.
She was indeed a bit of a recluse, though there is every possibility that she was, in fact, a spy.
Come on, name changes, working for the Ministry of Defense, or whatever you said, that thing. Very suspicious.
The Ministry of Information. Most suspicious of all is that she was a professional Shakespearean actress in Australia.
Don't trust actors, and especially don't trust actors from Australia.
That's indeed correct. Indeed correct. Well, happy birthday, P.L. Travers. Thank you for your gift of Mary Poppins.
Thank you so much. We're sorry you didn't like the movie as much as we hoped you would.
You say that as though we worked on it.
Didn't we have a part in it, Patrick? Didn't we?
We did. We absolutely did. Our magic was created before we were, really.
Oh, I love the idea that we were just magically floating around the writer's room for Mary Poppins.
Yes, that's right. It's the deep magic from Narnia, really, that helped.
Exactly that. Exactly what you said, Patrick. Well, fascinating facts in This Week in Disney History.
Thank you so much. Thus closes the vault doors for This Week in Disney History.
And that means we open the news doors to This Week in Disney News.
I like it. It's like the opening of Newsies. I'm into this.
Put on your newsy cap, hitch up your suspenders, and let's dance our way through the Disney news.
We're going to jazz step our way into the news. I like it.
5, 6, 7, 8. Last week, Disneyland Resort announced the next evolution of the Disneyland Resort Annual Pass program, which was informed and shaped by extensive consumer research and feedback from guests and fans. The Magic Key program is a new guest-centric offering that will deliver choice, flexibility, and value for park admission, special access to unique experiences, valuable saving opportunities, and so much more. There will be 4 options of Magic Key passes to provide guests and their families with choices that fit various needs and lifestyle preferences for how they wish to visit the Disneyland Resort. Patrick, are you ready to learn the 4 Magic Keys?
I am so ready. I was born ready. I remain ready.
First up, we have Imagine Key, which is only available to Southern California residents and costs $399. That's $399 per year. It includes reservation-based admission to one or both theme parks on select days of the year. Guests can hold up to 2 theme park reservations at a time. The Imagine Key also includes 10% off select merchandise and 10% off select dining. Moving on, we have the Enchant Key, Patrick.
Enchanting.
The Enchant Key costs $649 per year, and like the Imagine Key, it is also reservation-based admission to one or both theme parks for select days of the year. Guests can hold up to 4 theme park reservations at a time, and Enchant Key also includes 10% off select merchandise and 10% off select dining. From Enchant Key, we move on to Believe Key, Patrick.
I believe.
Believe Key is $949 per year. Also reservation-based admission to one or both theme parks. But unlike Enchant Key and Imagine Key, Believe Key is admission most days of the year. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. Most days, guests can hold up to 6 theme park reservations at a time. It includes 10% off select merchandise, 10% off select dining, and 50% off standard theme park parking with some restrictions. And last but not least, Patrick, we have the big daddy of them all, Dream Key.
A dream is a wish your Disney heart makes.
And an expense your wallet will make at $1,399 per year. Dream Key is, you guessed it, reservation-based admission to one or both theme parks every day, Patrick. This one includes every single day of the year. Guests can hold up to 6 theme park reservations at a time for different dates. It includes up to 20% off select merchandise and up to 15% off select dining. And it also includes standard theme park parking, excluding blockout days. Throughout the year, Magic Key holders will also be able to enjoy special benefits such as dedicated dining experiences and custom menu items at Magic Key Terrace, special offerings at the resort's festivals just for Magic Key holders, a Magic Key holder celebration month, plus other unique surprises. Disneyland Resort will also be introducing an all-new Magic Key portal on the Disneyland app to more deeply engage, deeply engage directly with the community of Magic key holders in the future. For a limited time, Disneyland Resort will celebrate the charter members that became Magic key holders within the first 66 days, celebrating 66 years of Disneyland Resort. These guests will receive a special welcome package that will include unique items such as a premium branded pin, celebratory button, magnet, and more. Plus, Magic key holders who enter Disneyland Park will also be celebrated with access to a limited time experience at Starcade in Tomorrowland, which begins on September 1st, where they can enjoy charging stations, a special photo opportunity, and other fun surprises. Starting August 25th, 2021, no earlier than 10 a.m. Pacific time, guests will be able to purchase their preferred Magic Key Pass type. Their first opportunity to unlock a visit to Disneyland Park or Disney California Adventure Park with a theme park reservation will be that same day. A monthly payment plan exclusively for California residents will be offered after an initial down payment of $179. Guests will be able to purchase and manage their Magic Key Pass through Disneyland.com and the Disneyland app, where they will be able to access an interactive admission calendar for their pass type to view reservation availability and book their theme park reservations. For more information and to purchase your Magic Key beginning on August 25th, visit Disneyland.com/Magic Key.
Interesting. Magical, even.
I like it, Patrick. I like Magic Key. I like this kind of concept they're pitching. I don't know how it differs so drastically from the annual pass program they used to have, but it's a fun new way to kind of spin it.
Yeah, I like the branding behind it. I think it just simplifies what they had in place before. I feel like before there was a lot more bells and whistles involved, specifically for California residents. And so I feel like this just sort of is like, this is what we have. These are the tiers. End of story.
Absolutely, yeah. And on the heels of this Magic Key release, we also learned that Walt Disney World will be resuming their annual pass sales by the 50th anniversary on October 1st.
That's correct. You can now newly become an annual pass member for Disney World that was on hold for a while. You could renew it before, but now you can actually purchase a brand new pass. That's pretty exciting that they're bringing that back.
Well, let us know, Tweedles, who's going to jump on board? Who's going to become a Magic Key holder? Who's going to become a new Walt Disney World annual pass holder? We want to hear from you. Who is taking the leap?
Tell us all about it. Also, I have to add on to that, I just heard starting today, I believe, annual pass holders are invited to enjoy Remy's Ratatouille Adventure a full month before it opens.
That's right. You got to get a reservation for it.
You do have to get a reservation for it. I tried to get one today because I'm going in August, but they don't start opening the ride for annual pass holders until September.
Oh, so you're just going to have to ride it with us plebes?
Yeah, I'm going to have to ride the ride with the common folk.
Thank you for sullying your good name by enjoying an attraction with us, Patrick.
Well, it's not my choice, Adam. It's not my choice. This past week, Disney released a galaxy full of new information about the upcoming Galactic Star Cruiser, both on the Disney World website and in a video with Imagineers working on the project discussing details that guests can expect. On the updated website, Disney shared a sample itinerary that breaks down by the hour the activities you'll be invited to on the Star Cruiser, which includes possible story elements that will help determine the outcome of your stay. The itinerary also calls out entertainment, meals, and activities like sabacc lessons and bridge training. The website also calls out a few dining experiences like the supper club dinner you'll have on the first night and the opportunity to upgrade your meal to eat at the captain's table, which will include prime seating and extra courses that only guests at the table will enjoy. Most importantly, the updated website also gives us a bit more detail on the accommodations and pricing. There are 3 tiers you can pick from: a standard cabin that can sleep 4 to 5 passengers, a Galaxy Class suite that sleeps up to 4 people, and a Grand Captain suite that sleeps up to 8 people. Pricing is still a little vague when it comes to the suites, but they did reveal that the price of a standard cabin will vary depending on the size of your party. For example, 4 guests in one cabin will pay $749 per person, but only 2 guests in the same size cabin will pay $1,209 per person. And of course, those are just the starting at prices, as you can include add-ons like alcohol or upgraded meals. The video that was dropped features Executive Portfolio Creative for Walt Disney Imagineering Scott Trowbridge, Executive Producer and Creative Director for Disney Imagineering Anne Morrow, Senior Research and Development Imagineer Sarah Thatcher, Assistant Producer for Walt Disney Imagineering Anisha Deshmani, and Executive Director for Disney Live Entertainment Wendy Anderson. A few experiences highlighted in the video were the food. The team discussed how excited they were that the chefs were working on an elevated food experience that is designed to look otherworldly and exclusive to the Halcyon. They also highlighted the entertainment guests can expect, including a one-of-a-kind musical entertainment during your seated dinner on night 1. Additionally, the team gave a few more details of how your stay on the Halcyon will integrate into your experience on Galaxy's Edge. Now, we previously reported that guests will indeed take an excursion from the Star Cruiser to Batuu. We now know that experiences from the ship will play out during your stay on Batuu. For example, guests will learn more about coaxium and who is actually buying it, and you will be delivering the coaxium later on. Also, your reason for being on Batuu will differ from guest to guest based on how you have interacted with characters on board the Star Cruiser. Speaking of characters, the creative team was, of course, careful not to give away too many details, but they did highlight the breadth of character interaction that guests can expect, from helping to smuggle someone on board to passing on secret information from a droid on Batuu. According to the team, guests can interact as much as they want and dive as deep as they want into the story, or they can just hang back and watch the story unfold around them. The hope is that the experience will be just as fun for lovers of Star Wars as it will be for the people who love those fans. Now, this wasn't the only video that dropped this past week. Disney also released its first commercial for the Galactic Star Cruiser, which can be seen on Disney Parks' YouTube channel. The Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser is set to open in 2022, and of course, Disney has already begun casting roles and training those who will be working on board. In fact, an email was recently sent to Disney College Program participants, offering them an opportunity to extend their program this fall to begin training for a spring 2022 opening. A section of the email reads, Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser is seeking enthusiastic and courteous college program cast members who excel at storytelling, anticipating needs and engaging with passengers as they embark on their voyage aboard the Halcyon. Crew members will help drive the story further and deeper as passengers choose their own paths and step beyond storytelling into story living. Any DCP member selected would begin their transfer to the Galactic Star Cruiser to begin training this fall, well ahead of the spring 2022 opening. To see the full Imagineering video, head over to the Disney Parks YouTube page, and to see the new info posted on the website, go to the Disney World website and search Galactic Star Cruiser.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here.
A ton of information.
First up, I just need to mention, and I'm sure a lot of you Tweedles already know this, but there has been some confusion from potential guests whether or not the Galactic Star Cruiser actually goes into space. I'm not joking. I am not joking.
Okay, and the answer is yes, it does. It does, in fact, go to space.
If you want to believe in the magic, yes, it does go into space. But in reality, no, in fact, it does not go into space. Disney had to clarify that with a potential guest. Second of all, this sounds so immersive for any Star Wars fan. I mean, if you're a real Star Wars lover and you're into LARPing, is that what it's called, Patrick? LARPing, live action role playing. Yes, LARPing. This is the experience for you.
I mean, even if you're not the hugest of Star Wars fans, this sounds like it's going to be a one-of-a-kind experience. And I'll say it right here, right now, everybody. Those price tags are big, but I feel like it's going to be worth it. I don't think that they're as bloated as we were expecting them to be.
Until Disney decides to downgrade the menu to chicken tenders.
Until then, yeah, that's going to happen pretty soon. It's going to be the leftover pizza from Pizza Rizzo.
Do you think they're going to have galactic corn dog nuggets?
If they are, it's going to be worth it. Maybe they'll dye them purple or something just to make them a little different, and I will eat all of them.
Make them a little special with that purple dye. Yeah.
I'm interested.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And we certainly want to hear from any Tweedles who have the cash to experience Galactic Star Cruiser, because it'll be fascinating to learn how much it pulls you away from other Disney experiences at the resort. Or, I mean, they said you can sit back and like kind of watch the action happen or be a part of it, but I'm wondering how much of that actually is the case. Like, are you on an itinerary that has you leaving the Star Cruiser and returning to the Star Cruiser at certain times?
You are, in fact. It'll be a scheduled time, so you can't just leave when you want to go into the park. I imagine you can probably, if you need to leave the Star Cruiser for any situation, you probably will be able to do that. But I think the expectation is that you are on board. You've signed up for a 2-day, 2-night experience.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'll say it right now. I feel like if 3 other people want to go with me, $750 seems pretty reasonable for all your food included, for entertainment, for just like being at camp for 2 days, basically.
Per night, or is that just for the 2 days, $750?
That's everything. That is the price that you will pay for the entire experience. You'll be staying in one room, the 4 of you, but that's the price that you'll pay. And it gets you access to Hollywood Studios, of course. Once you go to Batu, you are welcome to roam Hollywood Studios for as long as you have there.
All right, Patrick made the pitch. There you have it. Bear in mind, you will be sharing a room with Patrick.
It's true. We're gonna get a lot of people sliding into our DMs for this, aren't we?
Effective next year, Walt Disney Animation Studios is opening a new facility in Vancouver, British Columbia that will focus on long-term series and special projects for Disney+. The first in the pipeline is the anticipated feature-quality musical series Moana, set to debut on Disney Plus in 2024. According to an August 4th Deadline article, the Burbank studio will also expand its more than 900 employees as it remains Walt Disney Animation Studios' exclusive hub for feature film projects as well as shorter-form series, such as the recently announced Baymax and Zootopia Plus. Story development, storyboarding, and production design for all projects will be based on the Burbank lot. Amir Nasrabadi, who most recently served as Executive Vice President and General Manager of Vancouver-based Wild Brain Studios and previously oversaw Pixar Canada in Vancouver, will serve as the head of Walt Disney Animation Studios Vancouver. He also had senior leadership roles with Illumination and Paramount Animation and was a finance leader for Walt Disney Animation Studios. The Vancouver studio is aiming for an official opening in January 2022, and the recruiting process to fill roles will begin imminently. Positions that are open include layout, character technical director, general technical director, animation, look development, lighting, effects, technology, and studio roles. The office location is expected to be in downtown Vancouver, but the exact location has yet to be announced. This marks a return for Walt Disney Animation Studios to Vancouver, as it previously had a studio facility in the city between 1996 and 2000. The announcement of the new Vancouver studio is a significant move for Disney, given that the Burbank headquarters is currently the company's only animation production hub around the globe. So, Patrick, this is kind of an interesting jump back to Vancouver for Disney as they kind of expand their footprint in where these films and series are produced.
I think it's super smart. I mean, I am all on board with this. I imagine it's going to be so helpful for them to just sort of not split the company, but like have teams just basically focused on one area for Disney.
Yeah, absolutely. They used to have studios in several locations around the world, including Paris. And we know there was a studio, obviously, in Walt Disney World at Hollywood Studios or Disney MGM back in the day. So it's interesting that they're kind of returning to this idea of having these pockets of these creatives now in different locations. I bet it will just kind of lead to like a broader perspective when it comes to the production elements behind these projects.
Well, and let's be clear, it's probably a good financial move for them as well, because now they'll have an actual business in this location where they'll get probably some tax breaks and benefits there as well.
It's always about the finances with you.
It really is. It's all about the coin. That's what I'm doing this podcast for, is the finances of it all.
I have some bad news for you if that's the case.
I am still waiting for that check. It's been about 3 years. I haven't seen anything yet. Oh, Adam.
Oh, Patrick.
I am very excited about this new segment we are about to unleash onto the world.
A brand new segment as teased at the top of this very episode.
You know, Adam and I are creative types. We're theatrical. We like to get creative on everybody. And this is a perfect segment for us. I'm frankly astonished we haven't done it before.
Yes, it's time. It's time for us to roll up our creative sleeves. And those sleeves are the sleeves of a floor-length tunic because we are creative types. We enjoy wearing tunics, gowns, what have you.
That's right, what have you. Tiaras, glasses that don't do anything really. That's what we do here.
That's our vibe. And so it's time for us to roll up those tunic sleeves and get to creative work.
Disney has been knocking on our door lately, and we are finally answering. We're answering the door in our robes and our tunic sleeves and our tiaras, and we are answering the call to fix Disney. Adam, we're going to fix Disney.
We can pretend. Sure, we can pretend that everything's just absolutely perfect in the Disney parks and resorts, but we know that's not the case. We know there are things that could be zhuzhed a little bit or need to be addressed. And we, as ardent fans of Disney, it's our calling to zhuzh, address, so on and so forth.
It's our duty. It's our God-given duty to help Disney out a little bit. We've talked about some of these places on the podcast before in our travels to Disney World and Disneyland, of things that we like but could use just a little upgrade.
And that's why we are premiering this segment. Patrick, name it.
Do-over Disney.
Do-over Disney, Tweedles. We're going to take some attractions, we're going to take some experiences, and we're going to do them over.
We sure are. I'm actually very excited because I'll say it, I'm proud of what I've come up with, Adam, and I'm very excited to see what you have come up with. Tweedles at home, Adam and I decided not to tell each other the locations that we are going to do over within Disney, and so this will be a surprise for both of us as well.
Temper your expectations, my friend, because I don't really know what to expect. I have items that I've chosen. In fact, each of us have chosen 3 attractions or experiences we're going to do over. But since this is a brand new segment, anything could happen.
Anything and everything will happen. I am sure that you are going to blow my hair back with your 3 selections, Adam.
I didn't know where you were going to go with that, but everything turned out okay in the end, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, it did. I just, I took a pregnant pause there and I didn't mean to, but maybe editing will fix that. Who can say? Well, Adam, here we go. Let's dig into it. Do you want to reveal your first do-over Disney, or shall I go first?
I think you should go first because I need to set you as a barometer of how far or how not far I should go in this segment.
I'm the warm-up act. Wait, did you come up with many more, and so you're just not sure what you're going to do yet?
No, I have 3. But I don't know how, in-depth I should go, or, is this, are we blue skying it? I just don't know what to expect. So you start, and I will take your lead.
Fair enough. Adam didn't do his homework. He is doing it on the bus, as per usual. Here we go. Buckle up, everyone. My first do-over Disney is to add women to Adventureland. I'm going to upgrade Adventureland a little bit, but a specific area. So Adventureland, as many Tweedles know, and you know, Adam, as I've talked about on the podcast before, is one of my very favorite places within the Magic Kingdom. It's got a great soundtrack. There's lots to see, but let's face it, it is very heavily hetero male in Adventureland. You've got the magic carpets of Aladdin, Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes, we have Red, but there's only one woman hero. Even the Tiki Room is narrated and hosted by male birds only. So my suggestion would be to remove the magic carpets of Aladdin and even the bazaar area that accompanies it and keep that section more Polynesian. So this is where we could add a Moana attraction, whether it's simply turning the Dumbo-like carpet ride into a Moana's raft ride, or moving the Moana Journey of Water that we're going to get in Epcot to here instead. Imagine the food possibilities of bringing the Hawaiian pulled pork sliders here, possibly. We've already got the Dole Whip, which fits right in, and I think this would bring that whole area into a more cohesive look and feel. But my one downside of this, of course, is removing Aladdin from it all. Because frankly, removing any type of Middle Eastern representation from the parks in general is, maybe let's not do that, right? Let's face it, there's really zero Middle Eastern representation within Disney in general. So that's something we would need to solve for, but I think we can do it.
Well, let's just nix Aladdin and focus on Jasmine. How about that?
There you go. I'm into that. I'm interested in that. Absolutely.
Just replace those magic carpets with Raja. Several Rajas that the kids can ride.
Flying Rajas. I like it.
I want them to be real, though, Patrick. They need to be real.
Fair. Yeah. Flying real tigers.
I like an element of danger, you know?
Indeed. Indeed.
I think this is a great idea, and it totally makes sense. There are not enough women represented in Adventureland, and even expanded beyond that. I mean, think about Frontierland, too. It's like, come on, Disney.
Yeah. Actually, when you think about it, the Magic Kingdom is very male-centric.
Until you get to Fantasyland, and then it's just like princesses and gay dudes, you know?
This is true. It's like my house, really.
But I think this is a great idea. I would love to see it. And maybe, now that we've got Jungle Cruise established, maybe we'll get a Dr. Lily, I can't remember her last name, walking around Adventureland.
I imagine that will happen very soon. But moreover, I just think it makes that whole area just a lot tighter and more cohesive, right? The Aladdin and the bazaar that's there sort of breaks it up a little bit in a weird way. Like we all know that where Aladdin is set is not Polynesia, right? And that whole area tends to be Polynesian. So I just think it would make it a little bit more cohesive.
I agree. I think it's great. And yeah, the magic carpets are a bottleneck, and as much as you may love them and as endearing as you may find them, it does cause a bit of a backup at times. So yeah, like we can find better ways to utilize that space, and including more women in this space and making it more of kind of like a Polynesian feel, I think is a great idea. Now, I think Adventureland feels more like kind of a broader, like adventures from around the world kind of like theme to it, so we might be narrowing the scope a bit, but let's just do it. Let's just do it, Patrick.
Let's just do it. Why ever not?
Excellent first do-over, PK.
Thank you so much. The very first do-over Disney.
Well, since we're in the Magic Kingdom, let's just stay there, shall we?
Let's do it. Why don't we?
Because my first do-over that I'm going to demand from Disney, you heard me, Disney, is Space Mountain. Patrick.
Interesting. I'm fascinated. Go on.
Disney, it's time to do over Space Mountain. No, I'm not saying the entire attraction. No, I'm not. But I'm saying that Space Mountain, particularly in Walt Disney World, needs to be addressed. For those of us who have reached a certain age in this life, Patrick, Space Mountain may no longer be an option. And it saddens me every time I go to Magic Kingdom that I can't ride Space Mountain because it hurts. Patrick.
Yeah, as the years go on, my back wears down on Space Mountain.
The Space Mountain in Walt Disney World, as we all know, was the first Space Mountain in the entire world, and it opened in 1975. But we've certainly learned a lot about ride comfort since then, and the fact that we're still using the kind of two-car, single-row trains in Walt Disney World, where we have the much more comfortable ride vehicles in Disneyland. Let's learn from that experience. Let's pull a more comfortable ride over to Space Mountain. And on top of that, let's also then plus the experience by using some of that projection mapping that's become so popular in the parks lately. And let's projection map on the inside of that mountain, Patrick. Let's have more of a visual experience on the ride.
Yeah, I like that idea. They do it during Halloween, I believe, and I think they actually did it for the holidays as well a couple of years ago. So they can do it. They just aren't implementing it all the time.
I think it'd be fun to see a more kind of dynamic visual representation of a journey through space. We've got the comets and we got the stars, but I think they can certainly be brighter and more thrilling to look at on the ride. So I say let's address that. Let's make it more visually appealing and less physically traumatic.
I like this idea, and I'm fully with you on this. I have a hunch, Adam. I have a sneaking suspicion that once the Tron light cycle opens up, that will eat all those people up, and then they can finally refurb Space Mountain. I would put money on it that that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to close it down, but they're waiting for Tron to open up first.
Patrick, that was my very next bullet point. Yes,
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. They're going to wait for Tron to open, and it does feel like then they may find the time to take Space Mountain offline while everyone is drawn to Tron and fix some of those issues, because we know they did it in Disneyland too, right? They did smooth out that track, and they did find more comfortable ride vehicles, so there's no reason why they can't at least address that in Walt Disney World.
That's exactly right. And it will take a while. And so I think that's why they need to wait until they have another attraction that will absorb just as many guests, if not more. Because I imagine to refurb this version of Space Mountain, it would take almost a year to do. That's my guess.
Or even more. I don't know, the technical elements behind it. I don't even know what I'm suggesting. Is it hard? Sure. It's probably really difficult, but make it happen, Disney, and let all of us who haven't been able to enjoy Space Mountain in Walt Disney World for the longest time hop back on that ride and go for a little jaunt through outer space.
That's right. Absolutely. But I will put a caveat on it. Do not touch the exterior. I think that it is so beautiful and so miraculous and so iconic that if they touched that exterior, people would lose, me specifically, would lose their minds.
No, don't touch the exterior. I would never want you to do anything to that John Hench-inspired glory that is that kind of mid-century retrofuturism look. Like, I love that. And even the track itself, like, don't change anything. Just make it smoother and make it more visually appealing on the inside of the dome.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a different track. I wouldn't mind a different experience. But yeah, absolutely. I think that it's ready, and I think that you're right. And I think that now that we've said it, we've put it into the atmosphere, it's going to happen, Adam. So I thank you for your service there.
You're welcome, everyone. You are so welcome.
Well done. I like it. You swung big for your number one. I like this.
And will you swing big for your second do-over Disney? What is your second do-over Disney?
I'm not going to swing so big, but I am going to offer a suggestion that I think that I've been suggesting for a while, and I think it would help Disney a lot, and I think it would help the guests a lot. I'm going to go to the hotels, Adam. I'm going to go to the resorts within Disney and make some changes.
Very interesting. I'm excited to see where this is going to go.
Adam, I'm refurbing the All-Star Resorts as a collection of All-Star Resorts.
How dare you touch the All-Stars? Patrick, you know how I feel about the All-Stars.
I do, and that's why I'm refurbing them as my gift to you, Adam. Now, as our tweeters know, I actually do enjoy staying at the All-Star Resorts. I think that they're very affordable. I think they're in a great location, and they have just enough of the amenities that I expect, I guess, from a Disney resort to not make me want to stay off property for a little bit cheaper of a price. Now, where I think they fall short, however, is in their theming, right? So if Disney is going to sell me on a themed property, which the All-Star Resorts apparently are, a giant saxophone or a giant soccer ball isn't really going to do it for me. It doesn't speak to me. It doesn't say Disney to me. I don't really understand how they're selling it as a Disney resort, save for All-Star movies, which is pretty heavily influenced by Disney movies, but it seems a little cheap to me. So Disney very clearly has an enormous catalog of musicals and sports-related content that they could easily incorporate into these resorts without needing to up the price tag on the resorts themselves. In fact, to keep these resorts affordable, you can keep everything as is. I don't care. You don't need to touch a thing, but just give us a better overlay. So, without further ado, Adam, here are my suggestions for redoing the All-Star Resorts. So for All-Star movies, now this, as I said, is the only one of the three that would be fine as it was, but the movies are a little dated to me that they're representing. And that's fine. That's fine. But if you want to upgrade it, because why ever not, that's what we're doing here, make it a heroes and villains theme instead. So half of the buildings would be dedicated to characters like Mulan, Hercules, Moana, etc. And all of the other buildings would be Ursula, Maleficent, Hades, whomever. Easy peasy. Simple change, right?
Simple pimple. I will say, though, that the desire, the need, the want for those villains rooms is going to be intense. And good luck getting one. You have a better chance of getting on the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser.
But I say, well done if you do that, because it should be affordable. Things like that should be affordable for people. But they shouldn't just be for the super rich who can afford to pay that price. It should be anybody should be able to access it.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, and I think a kind of villains overlay, a heroes overlay. I love that idea. So the first redesign is approved.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Moving on, we're coming to All-Star Music. Now, my suggestion here would be a tribute, this is real gay, to Disney on Broadway. So update the buildings to be The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Newsies, Aladdin, etc., and then pipe in Disney on Broadway soundtracks in the common areas. Done and done. Done and done.
And would the Newsies section come with actual Newsies?
That would be an elevated experience that you can pay for if you need to.
If you want to plus your trip, you can request a newsie.
That's right. That's on the onlydisneyfans.com website.
Okay, this is also a great idea. Now, I think this might be a bit more niche, because there may be fewer fans of Disney on Broadway, but because those movies that you mentioned are such huge hits as well, people will still be interested in this resort.
I think so, but I would venture to say that the Venn diagram of people who like Disney on Broadway and Disney in general is quite tight, right? I think there are more people who enjoy Disney on Broadway than you would expect, who are already going to a Disney resort.
Oh, I think they for sure enjoyed it. I just don't know how many people have actually seen it.
Oh,
but maybe,
yeah.
maybe, but this will definitely cater to the gays. Right? The gays are going to want to stay in the Disney on Broadway resort.
That's right. The gays and the dance teams.
Don't make it less appealing, Patrick. We're trying to sell these.
Group sales. That's where the future is, Adam. That's where it's at. So finally we come to All-Star Sports. And I went back and forth on this one, but I think I've come up with a grand idea. My suggestion here would be to go back to the classics and make this an ode to goofy sports cartoons with the baseball, the football, the skiing, soccer, and Olympics themes that Goofy did. You could play the cartoons on the TVs in the cafeteria and common areas. I just think it makes it a lot more fun, and it brings in some nostalgia, and frankly, who doesn't love Goofy?
Yeah, absolutely. People love Goofy. Those shorts are hilarious. It would be a perfect kind of upgrade to the theme that already exists.
I think so. Yeah. And Disney sort of sold us short on the Disney of it all for this specific All-Star resort. I actually kind of like staying in All-Star Sports because, frankly, not a lot of people stay there because there's really not a lot of Disney there. You sort of get the Mighty Ducks, but not really. They didn't really invest heavily into that for this resort specifically. So I think they sort of, I don't know, I'll go so far as to say they sort of owe it to the guests who are staying in these resorts some more Disney. Like, they're staying in a Disney property. Give them some more Disney. Otherwise, what are we even doing here, right?
Yeah, I agree. And this is the opportunity to do it because in some of the more moderate deluxe resorts, they've pulled back on the theming quite heavily, where they've kind of leaned into more of the theming of the resort itself and less of Disney, although they are kind of bringing in a little bit more Disney, I guess, now more recently. But I will say that people who are staying at these current all-star resorts, they really are ardent Disney fans, and I think they really want that Disney theming, so fully lean into it and just wow everyone and go nuts with it. People want that.
I think so too. And I've said it a million times. One of my hangups with Disney, one thing that irks me with them a lot is that they have such a disparity between their price points. So if you're paying a lot less at a all-star resort, though, it's still quite expensive to stay there. Let's be honest. They give you so much less. They give you an astronomical amount less. Even with the theming, they sort of just forget about it. And so I think Disney has an opportunity to really more evenly spread out the enjoyment factor of staying at each Disney resort.
While we're on the subject, let me ask you this. How do you feel about the white bedding?
The white bedding? What do you mean?
Almost all of the resorts now, in fact, maybe all of the resorts have that kind of generic white bedding in the rooms.
Oh, the linens, you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry, Princess Patrick, the linens.
I thought you were just talking about the bed in general, that it's a big white bed. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, the blankets, the sheets, what have you. How do you feel about that look? Because every time I walk into the room, I feel like I'm going to be more surrounded by Disney theming. And then when I see the bed, I'm like,
I'm actually fine with it. And I think it's actually kind of smart because they just probably use the same linens across the board. So they're not having to make specific or specialty linens. But I'm easy, though. As you know, when it comes to a resort and a hotel stay, I don't need much. And so the last thing I think about is what the linens look like.
Maybe just a decorative bed scarf, something to dress it up a little bit.
Fair enough. I think you need to stay at the Polynesian maybe and have one of those, the pull-out beds that has like the twinkling lights on it. I think that's what you need, Adam.
Patrick, I can't ride Space Mountain. What makes you think I'll sleep on a pull-out bed?
You would do it. They're beautiful. You would do it. You'd make it happen. I believe in you.
No, it is interesting, though, to look at the new Polynesian rooms to see how they've kind of returned to themed linens, Patrick.
Fair enough.
So it'll be interesting to see where they go. Yeah, but anyway, that was a total tangent. But yes, great suggestion. I love it. Let's lean more into the Disney of it all, and let's really theme out those all-star resorts.
I think so, too. That's why I said it.
And interesting that you should bring that up, Patrick, because my next do-over also has to do with a resort.
Interesting. Is it All-Star Sports?
It's not. Don't touch All-Star Sports. It's perfect.
You would never step foot in All-Star Sports.
I would. I totally would. I'd be fine with that. Yeah, that's not a problem.
If you were meeting someone there.
If it was an athlete who could only stay at All-Star Sports, absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, I'm actually going to take us across the country over to Disneyland, and I'm going to propose that we take the Disneyland Hotel, that's right, the OG Disney Resort, back to 1955. I want to theme it out mid-century style with more modern amenities.
Interesting. I like this idea. I like where you're going. Tell me more.
Happy to do so. So the Disneyland Hotel opened in 1955, in October 1955, in fact. And as we've talked about on the podcast, it was not owned by Disney at the time of its opening. In fact, it was originally owned and operated by a gentleman named Jack Rather, who made an agreement with Walt Disney to become the official Disney resort and bear Walt Disney's name. And Rather was actually a Texas oil millionaire turned film producer, that classic chestnut, that type of guy, you know? Mm-hmm. And he was also a hotel owner. He actually owned several hotels in Vegas. And so he was the one who first opened the Disneyland Hotel. Now, what I would like to do is take it back, as I said, back to kind of like a more mid-century styling, and also kind of tell the story of Disneyland's creation throughout the hotel. They kind of do this already in the various towers, where they have the maquettes, I believe they're called, of various ride vehicles, and they have like attraction posters and things like that. But I like to go even further with it and really tell the tale of the Imagineers and the people who brought Disneyland to fruition. And I think it'd be really cool to like have giant wall-sized renderings of concept art and things like that throughout the hotel.
I love this idea. Make it sort of a living museum.
Absolutely. But, you know, sometimes mid-century styling can get a little harsh. Like it can be a lot of hard edges and can be not so comfortable. So I'd like them to lean into a more comfortable styling of mid-century, kind of like what we're doing now with, you know, we've taken the best elements of mid-century and made it more of a comfortable experience in our lives. That's
right. I want a fainting couch in each room.
Take note, we're going to add a fainting couch in each room just for Patrick.
That's right. And instead of a mint on your pillow, it is a Camel cigarette.
A Camel cigarette and a vodka gimlet. Absolutely. Yeah.
I love this. I think this is a great idea. You know me. I love a theme. I love the 1950s era. I love that whole vibe. Mm-hmm. Don't love the politics behind it, but I love the aesthetics of it all. And so I'm interested. I want an avocado green bed, and I want a banana yellow phone in my room.
A very kind of idealized version of the 50s, taking the best elements of that time and incorporating them into the hotel. And I learned some really interesting facts, Patrick. In fact, Disney did not even acquire the Disneyland Hotel until 1988. Jack Rather actually held on to that property for that long. And it was only after he died and after his wife died that Disney actually bought his company in order to buy the hotel.
Fascinating. I did not know that. We have an episode to do, apparently.
Yes, I would love to talk more about the hotel. The last major renovation was in 2009. And if you've been in the Disneyland Hotel, it's nice. It's a very nice experience. The proximity to the parks cannot be beat. It's so nice just to be able to walk into the parks. But the current theming is like swirly, late 2000s Disney magic styling. Like there's a lot of Mickey in the hotel, which is great. A lot of kind of sorcerer Mickey built into the hotel. Mm-hmm. And the towers are currently based on some of the lands in Disneyland. We have the Adventureland Tower, we have the Frontierland Tower, we have the Fantasyland Tower, and that's all fine. That can stay. But I really think that telling more of the story behind the creation of Disneyland and giving guests the experience of what it would have been like to have stayed there, albeit more of like a heightened version of it and a more Disney-fied version of mid-century styling, would be so appealing to so many guests.
I absolutely agree. I think this is a fantastic idea. I would stay there in a heartbeat for the theming alone, and I may not leave for a day or two just to see everything that they could do in there. It would be an attraction in and of itself, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So Disneyland Hotel, a great place to stay, but I just like to see it represent more of the time of when Disneyland was founded. That's all.
No, I think that's fantastic. And I think we need more of that. I think a lot of people who are newcomers to Disney don't really understand the history that is behind it and all that went into it and the drama of it all that it was to create Disneyland and to build Disney from the ground up. I think it's fascinating. And I think that it would be a really educational and entertaining place to stay.
Absolutely. And just a side note before we move on, when you have some time, Google Disneyland Hotel 1970s. You are in for a visual treat, my friends.
I can only imagine. It's what nightmares and dreams are made of.
All right, Patrick, what is your next do-over Disney?
Well, I saved my favorite idea for last, and I'm talking about food this time around, Adam. I'm going to redo a classic Disney restaurant within Hollywood Studios.
Interesting. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
If there's one thing that we can all agree on, it's that Disney does not do pizza very well, with the exception of Via Napoli, right? So Pizza Rizzo in the Muppet Courtyard is, well, Adam, it's a mess. It's a hot mess is what it is. Now, I know what a lot of you might be thinking. Let's put in a galactic pizza here, right? Let's do it for real. Let's give the guests what they've always wanted is a real living galactic pizza. But no. Not here, everyone. I desperately want to revitalize the Muppet Courtyard. So let's update Pizza Rizzo instead and turn this into, wait for it, everybody, the Swedish Chef's Global Kitchen.
Give me those meatballs, Patrick.
Right. So it's obviously run by the Swedish chef. Maybe Rizzo can work there too. Who knows? I haven't fully worked out the story in my head yet. But basically, the idea would be that the Swedish chef has traveled all around the world, showcase, that is, and is excited to bring you some new recipes. But in the Swedish chef form, it's a bit of a mess, with ingredients from different countries that you wouldn't think would go together. But of course, it would still be a delicious meal. So maybe there's like, I'm making it up, a Swedish meatball enchilada, right? Or tandoori chicken ramen or pizza or something like that. Or maybe it's just using all of the dishes from the last Epcot festival and making new wacky dishes with those ingredients. I feel like this would be an Imagineer's dream come true. They could go bonkers here with fun special effects. Maybe there's a specially ticketed add-on, like a test kitchen experience with the Swedish chef himself. There could be special effect explosions or weird sounds, right, happening from the kitchen area. So many fun possibilities. Possibly every table has a video screen on it, so after you order, you get to watch a video of the chef making your meal, and it just goes bonkers until the meal comes to your table. Endless possibilities, right? So I just want this is part of my plan that I've been talking about forever. I want so much more for the Muppets. I love them so much. In fact, I think I've said this before, they could be an interesting through line for all 4 Disney parks in some capacity. I don't mean in a mascot kind of way, but just like a smallish Muppet experience in all of the parks. But Hollywood Studios would sort of be their main home where the Muppets live.
I love this idea. I think this is fantastic. It speaks to fat Americans like myself.
Okay.
Who cannot be tied down by one type of dining experience when you have a global dining menu presented to you and mixed and mashed together in fun, creative ways. I think that'd be really, really fun, not only for adults, but especially for kids.
I think so too, right? Maybe there could be like a make your own meal situation for the kids where you make a crazy ice cream concoction, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And it'd even be great to have kind of like a Doc Ondar style Swedish chef animatronic in a kitchen where you could see him, kind of every so often popping up and doobie doobie doo, and like, as you said, like things flying around and like smoke and fire. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd go one step further. I think it could be the actual Swedish chef, right? I think it could be an actual actor or Muppeteer doing these things and maybe like presenting something to you, and it would be fun and unique and different every single time.
And as an added kind of show element, every so often, Piggy could drop down from the ceiling like Satine and sing to you from a swing.
I love this idea. Yeah, there's endless possibilities. They could probably change it up all the time, right? They could change it for the holidays. It could be a different experience almost every time you go. I think it would be amazing and fun. And it would revitalize, hopefully, the Muppets a little bit.
I'm on board. Just tell me how much money you need.
I'm creating a startup campaign for it. I will give you the web address as soon as we're done recording.
Fantastic, because I will invest. Disney, I hope you're listening, and I hope you seriously consider this. This is a great idea.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I was actually I had a lot of fun coming up with this one. As soon as the idea sparked, I was like, oh my gosh, this could go in a million different ways.
I'm into it. I want to dine there immediately.
Thank you so much. Well, that was a genius idea, I will say. So no press, Adam, no press, but we've come to your final do-over Disney idea.
Well, mine's not as fully realized as yours is, unfortunately.
I went a little crazy on this one. I will admit that.
No, I loved it. But my idea also comes from Hollywood Studios.
Ooh, interesting.
We're going to walk down Sunset Boulevard, Patrick, and we're going to head right into Fantasmic, because Fantasmic needs some attention, Disney.
At least the monkey outfits need to be updated. At least.
Just those, and we'd be thrilled. No, but as we all know, Fantasmic opened in 1998 at Hollywood Studios after having premiered at Disneyland. But it hasn't really been touched since it opened. And I was kind of hoping with the downtime in the pandemic that maybe Disney would make some drastic changes to Fantasmic or update it a little bit. Now, I know the water's been drained from the moat that's around the mountain in the amphitheater, but I have not heard a single thing about Fantasmic receiving kind of a major upgrade to its story elements.
In fact, they've been very quiet about Fantasmic. I haven't heard anything about it reopening anytime soon either, so who knows? Maybe they are. Adam.
I thought it would be so cool if they had upgraded Fantasmic to be a real celebration of the 50 years of Walt Disney World in some way. But what I've been hearing and reading is that it won't even be open for the 50th.
Probably not, which maybe means that they are revamping it. Who knows?
I would love that. So, Patrick, let's spitball ideas here, because what we currently have is, if you've seen Fantasmic, you know it's Mickey having a dream, and then there's a Pocahontas sequence. That's where we're at in Fantasmic, and it really speaks to the time it was created in. What can we do with Fantasmic?
Burn it down. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. There's so many ways you could go with it. I mean, clearly, and this is one thing I know that I always harp on you for thinking that Disneyland is so much better than Disney World. And in some instances, it is. And Fantasmic is one of those instances. It is superior in Disneyland. So, I mean, even if they did that, but plussed it a little bit on a wider scale, because it's such a bigger audience that's watching it, right? I think they would be fine. I actually really enjoy the Disneyland story of it all.
Yeah, Disneyland's is simultaneously more grand, despite the fact that it's not an amphitheater, and intimate, right? Like, it's just kind of a better version of Fantasmic.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be great if Walt Disney World came up with its own version of Fantasmic, can still be called Fantasmic, or come up with a whole new show, a new experience. I think it would be great to have live performers in that amphitheater singing and maybe telling Disney's story and somehow filling that space, because it is such a large space to fill, but making it a really grand experience and a great way to end your night in Hollywood studios.
I know this sounds like a broken record, but I mean, couldn't this be another space where they could bring in more Disney villains, like more heavily lean into the Disney villain of it all? The mountain is so ominous, and right now I'm spitballing and thinking they could do a Night on Bald Mountain segment, right? Chernobog could be the mascot here instead of Maleficent's dragon.
They kind of address it in the films that they show on the water screens, but it would be amazing to see that mountain actually come to life and have it be Chernobog coming out of the top of it.
Yeah, don't you think? Like, at least just like his head and his hands or something reaching over it, that could be incredible. Just a showstopper, really.
Easy to pull off, for sure.
I mean, frankly, at this point, if it was just an inflatable situation, I'd be fine with it, because it would be pretty cool.
I think another great IP opportunity to bring into that amphitheater would be The Incredibles, and have it be some kind of like action-y stunt show, spectacular kind of situation.
I'm actually surprised that they don't do something else with it during the day. Couldn't it be multi-purpose?
That's a great idea too. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if the technical elements are so demanding that they can only really be locked into one position, but just imagine like The Incredibles on jet skis.
Right? Absolutely. Imagine, right? Like during the day, it's more of a heroes themed attraction, and at night it turns into a villains show instead.
And then you go back to your Heroes and Villains hotel.
I love it. See, it all ties in. I like this. I love the idea of an incredible stunt show.
I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here for a really stunning nighttime spectacular that will just wow guests.
Absolutely. And to be clear, Fantasmic, if you've never seen it in Disneyland, and if you've never seen it before, it will still wow you. I was wowed the first time. I still like it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's fun. The Mickey of it all is really inspiring. It's a great way to end your day. Absolutely. But I do think it has already been upstaged by the Star Wars nighttime show that happens at the Chinese theater. I think that has already drawn more crowds than Fantasmic is drawing. So I think you're right. I think it's definitely time, at least for an upgrade, if not a fully different show.
Tweedles, send me your ideas. I just want to hear, what could that space be? What kind of amazing show could Disney produce for us in the Fantasmic Amphitheater?
It could just be an ode to all of the Disney villains who have fallen off a cliff to their death. Right?
Yeah.
It's just a night full of death scenes, basically.
It could be called Cliffhangers.
Oh, I love this idea. I love this for us. Well, great idea, Adam. I think this was a lot of fun. I had a good time with this segment. Hopefully you did as well. Hopefully our Tweedles enjoyed it, more importantly.
Yeah, and please know that this isn't us like criticizing in any way or not being super hypercritical of what Disney is doing. But, Walt Disney did say Disneyland would never be fully complete or never finished. And the same goes for Walt Disney World. There's always an opportunity to kind of improve on these experiences. And Patrick and I are clearly the guys to make it happen.
Fair enough. You know what? I'll even say that I think it's fair if we are critical sometimes. We're Disney fans. We're lovers of Disney. We're Disney enthusiasts. But there are absolutely things that could be improved according to us, right? I mean, we're armchair experts, as it were, on Disney, and we have our own opinions. And I imagine some of the things that we are suggesting to change, a lot of people would say, no, keep it as is because I love it so much. And that's fair. Absolutely fair. These are just our opinions, obviously, but they're the correct opinions, right?
Absolutely. I'm glad you opened that door a bit further, because I did want to say, let's demolish the Magic Kingdom.
Got it. Fair. Yeah. Just done. Do over Magic Kingdom.
Well, Tweedles, we'd love to hear from you, not only your thoughts about the suggestions we made, but we'd also like to hear your suggestions for Do Over Disney. And on top of that, we'd love your suggestions for perhaps themes for this segment. So if you want us to focus on a certain area of the parks or of the resorts, let us know and we'll tailor our next Do Over Disney to your theme.
I love this idea. Maybe it's even a movie that needs a makeover because we weren't happy with the movie in the beginning, right? We want to plus a movie.
No live action, though.
Adam, I need you to change the Jungle Cruise right now to how you want it to be.
You can reach out to us on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
Or you can leave us your ideas via voice memo or email at info@gaysdothed.com. So I'm spitballing some more about the amphitheater. What if it just turned into a nightclub?
Love it. It could be called Wet or Moist or Splash.
Splash. There it is.
That's it. A live action nighttime spectacular based on the Touchstone Pictures hit starring Daryl Hannah and Tom Hanks.
I happen to know Daryl Hannah has been waiting for this moment her entire life.
Maybe instead of the mountain, it's just like a mound of her bleach blonde hair.
Which turns into a water slide that you get to slip right down into. It's a slip and slide situation.
Writes itself. It's basically done. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Adam.
It's time to shut it down.
Closing time.
Yes, dear Tweedles, it's time to end this episode. But before we do, we have to have a little quick D, don't we?
We do have to have a little quick D, a small one, a sousant of quick D.
Just a sousant of D. And Patrick, I thought that this week we could go back to some of those fantastic questions that our Tweedles submitted for our 150th episode. We weren't able to get to all of them, so I thought, Patrick, it's time. Let's start chipping away at these questions.
I love this idea. I love this journey for us that you've laid out, Adam. Let's hear it.
The question that we're going to get to in a bit was submitted by Lucas, who is one of our Tweedles from Brazil, Patrick.
I love that. You know, we have a surprising amount of listeners from Brazil, and I am here for it.
Lucas submitted his question via email, but he also sent us a voice memo. In fact, he sent us 2 voice memos, Patrick, one in English and one in Portuguese.
Lucas, I love this. Lou is going to be so happy to hear this.
Absolutely, Lou of the Disney BR podcast. If you happen to be in Brazil or if you happen to speak Portuguese, check out Lou's podcast, Disney BR.
It's true. She is a delight, as I imagine is Lucas.
He is a delight because I already listened to these 2 voice memos. We're going to play them back to back. Patrick, charming. So charming.
I'm excited and probably a little bit aroused already.
Yeah, just wait till you hear him speak in Portuguese. In fact, I don't know what he says in Portuguese, so we have no idea. He could be just totally trashing Gays Do the D, but we're here for it.
Wouldn't that be amazing if it was a completely different message? It's not at all what he asked in English.
Yeah. Okay. So here is Lucas's voice memos, and then we'll get to his question.
Hello, my friends from Gays to the D. Congratulations for 150 episodes. That's a lot. Congratulations. I can't stop laughing. That's like my 10th attempt of recording this voice memo. And I can't stop laughing. Because at my first attempt, I said, hello, my gays from Friends Do the D. And I can't stop laughing. No, but I can't stop. I gotta do this. I can't do this. Okay, I'm gonna do this. So congratulations and thank you very much for the hundreds of hours of recording and editing. And there's no turning back now. You guys gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. We want more episodes. We want more and more drum rolls. Thank you very much for bringing this spark of Disney and joy for our everyday lives. Thank you very much for everything you do. Fala, Patrick and Adam. Parabéns e muito obrigado por emprestar suas vozes sexys toda semana para nós, para nos alegrar, para nos deixar felizes. Muito, muito, muito obrigado. Desejo muito mais episódios para vocês, muito mais fãs, muito mais Disney, e espero que essa pandemia vá embora logo para que vocês possam curtir muito mais nos parques e continuar fazendo esse conteúdo maravilhoso. Muito obrigado. Grande beijo.
I can't be certain, Adam. I can't be certain, but I think he was talking about our delightful butts. I think that's what he was saying.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure. No, Lou, I need you to inspect this for us and let us know exactly what Lucas said to us. Also, Lucas, were you just a little intoxicated when you left that first message? I hope that you were, because I'll join you. I'll join you in that.
Lucas, that was so charming. And I swear I heard sexy in the second one. I heard sexy in the Portuguese version.
We hear what we want to hear, Adam.
All right, here is Lucas's question. He says, well, it didn't take so long. GDTD became a country, and this amazing country is going to be represented in Epcot's World Showcase. What is this new pavilion going to be like?
Lucas, this is maybe the greatest Quick D question that's ever happened.
Patrick, we're going to be in World Showcase. What is the GDTD pavilion going to be about?
It's going to be about food, Adam. It's going to be aggressively about food, I think. Also, go-go dancers.
Okay, food and go-go dancers. Never have the two been paired before, yet here we are. Pioneers in the World Showcase, showcasing go-go dancers and just vast amounts of food.
You know how there's sometimes like a wine tasting that happens? There's going to be a go-go dancer experience like that, where you get to really figure out your preference for a go-go dancer.
So a go-go dancer tasting.
I was trying not to say that, but you did it for me. Thank you so much.
I'll do it on your behalf. Absolutely. Okay, this sounds like a party pavilion. Everybody's going to want to stop by.
It's a party pavilion. Absolutely. It's a blast in a glass. That's our tagline right there.
Sorry, Germany. You suck.
Sorry about it.
France, don't know her.
Everything comes in a shot glass. And if you want something in a full-size drink, it's only vodka sodas.
For health.
For health, absolutely. Absolutely. The go-go dancers are also for my health.
I love it. This feels very on brand for this podcast.
It's very on brand. And I'll tell you what, the music they're dancing to is going to be unexpected. It's going to be Broadway hits and the best of Barbra Streisand.
I'm a little uncomfortable with that suggestion. I don't know why. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it makes me feel a little nauseated.
People who need people. That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast. Submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See ya real soon.